everyone, my name is Ejin. This week we will talk about why study classroom interaction as our new topic and as our new course topic. So let's start with first with my references, which is MOOC. Maybe you remember from our previous videos. MOOC is a massive open online course platform that you can find any type of course inside, and the other references, which is edX, is one of those courses. In general, edX is a massive open online course, like we said, MOOC website that partners with companies and universities to provide classes, degrees, and professional certificates. It was founded by Harvard University and Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 2012. EDX classes use a variety of teaching methods and materials. And I've learned all these topics from this EDX course, so if you're curious about it, you can find it on MOOC, like I said. So let's look at our content table, what we are going to talk about in this video. First, we will talk about why studying classroom interaction is important, because as teachers to be, this is a very crucial topic for us, so we will talk about it. As our second topic, we will talk about why study your own classroom interaction. We will also see typical patterns of classroom discourse. We will also talk about communicative repertories in classroom interaction and predictable and unpredictable interaction in classrooms. So let's start with our first topic, which is why studying classroom interaction is important. Studying classroom interaction is important because it helps us understand how learning actually happens in real time. We have some key reasons for it, like the first is for example, studying classroom interaction reveals how teachers and students communicate. Classroom interaction shows the patterns of communication, like who talks, who stays silent, how questions are asked, and how responses are evaluated. So this helps educators understand the flow of learning. As a second key point is classroom interaction improves teaching effectiveness. Like by analyzing interaction, we will talk about in our next slides, like turn taking, teacher talk, student talk, and etc. Teachers can adjust their strategies to ask better questions, reduce misunderstandings, encourage more student participation, and etc. So, like we said, it improves teaching effectiveness. It also supports active learning, like if we improve our classroom interaction, students can ask more questions, they can collaborate each other more or with us as teachers. And it also connects language, culture, and learning. And also studying classroom interaction can help identify barriers to learning. So actually in briefly, it has a lot of advantages for us if you want to be a teacher. So we should be careful about it. And as our next topic, we will talk about why studying your own classroom interactions. Specifically, if you want to be a teacher, this is very crucial, like we said. So why should we improve our classroom interaction? First, each classroom context is unique. Like every classroom has its own combination of students, backgrounds, learning styles, and needs. By studying your own classroom interactions, you gain insight into how your particular students respond, what motivates them, and what challenges they face. This helps you adapt your teaching more effectively. As our second, we have it leads to more productive and inclusive interactions. Like by noticing how you and your students communicate, you can create more balanced participation and stronger engagement. And also, as our last thing we will talk about, it enhances your love of teaching. Like we said, if you specifically want to be a teacher, improving your classroom interaction is very important because it enhances your love of teaching. Reflecting on your classroom moments helps you appreciate your works and stay motivated. And also, if you are motivated, it means that your students are motivated. So it's very important to improve your classroom interaction before being a teacher. And for this, how can we improve it? We have some typical patterns of classroom discourse we will talk about in our next slides. Let's start with our first one, which is turn-taking patterns. The most well-known pattern is the initiation, response, and evaluation sequence. Like, initiation means teacher asks a question, usually a known answer question, and the response means student gives an answer. And evaluation part is teacher evaluates it, like correct, good. It gives some motivational words to the student, so it also motivates the student, and it encourages student to ask more questions or answer the questions more often. So this pattern structures who speaks when and how turns are distributed. Like I said, it's the most well-known one. And as the second, we have question types. Like, the first one is known answer question. It means display and test questions. In this one, teacher already knows the answer, only one correct answer, and it's used to test knowledge. Like we talked before, it's one of the common IRE patterns, and it can become guess what I'm thinking questions. As the second part of this method, we have open-ended questions. In this one, teacher does not have one expected answer. It encourages discussion and student thinking. It can shift interaction away from IRE toward real dialogue. This part usually happens during student-based lessons, student-centered lessons. So if a teacher uses student-centered education in their classes, it's more likely to use this type of question, open-ended questions like discussions and dialogues, etc. In the third one, it is contextualization cues. It means in this one, these are the non-linguistic features of communication, such as intonation, pitch, volume, stress, pauses, facial expressions. We have talked about this in our previous topic, which was subrasegmental features. You may remember from them. These cues shape how messages are interpreted, for example, sarcasm or excitement, and it can encourage or discourage student participation. So it's also very important to use your stress, your pitch, your voice, and maybe the most important, your facial expressions. Because if you want to be encouraged teacher, it's very important to be careful about that. And our fourth one is narrative. In narrative, teachers use storytelling to build context, create interest, take longer speaking turns, and connect ideas. Narratives often make lessons more engaging unless delivered monotonously. This is usually students' favorite one, because if a teacher talks about their topic just monotonously, it wouldn't engage the student. But if he or she talks about the topic with a narrative, with storytelling technique, it attracts and captures the student attention, so it makes the knowledge more longer lasting. So you can use this narrative technique. And as our last one, we have participation structures. These refer to how interaction is organized, such as teacher-led whole class discussion, small groups, pair work, individual writing, group sharing, check-ins. I think a teacher should be encouraged students to do some group works, because yes, a student-teacher interaction is very important, but also student-student interaction is also very important. So I think teachers should encourage their students to do this kind of stuff, like pair work, small groups, and etc. It really affects their engagement in the class. And yes, as our next topic, we will talk about communicative report theories in classroom interaction. Like we said, every individual in the classroom is unique. These differences make up each person's communicative repertoire, like their unique collection of ways of using language, gesture, dress, posture, and other forms of communication across different communities in their lives. So, as teachers to be, we will uh, be we will teach every type of person, like, so we should prepare ourselves to these kind of interactions, like we should be open to any type of gestures, cultures, and etc. So we should be prepared for it. And as our last topic, we will talk about predictable and unpredictable interaction in classrooms, which means most classroom talk follows predictable two-part sequences called agency pairs, such as greeting, greeting, like first the teacher comes to the class and say hello class or good morning class, and yes, students answer back. Or also if student I'm sorry, teacher asks the question and students answer the question. Or maybe there's the interaction like apology and acceptance or invitation acceptance and etc. People are trained from childhood to respond to these patterns. So these are predictable patterns. But if a student doesn't respond, teachers assume something is wrong, like maybe the student in this moment is tired, confused, sick, language barrier, and etc. And these are the unpredictable interactions in classrooms. So we should also be prepared for this. And yes, this was our topic today. We have talked about how classroom interaction is important, because we are going to be teachers and we need to be careful for this, because being a teacher is not just teaching the topic. Being a teacher also means touching the students' lives, and interaction is one of those ways. So thank you for listening to me. See you in our next videos.